Live Radio on all social platforms at Revive_POC, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, including YouTube. Hit us up right now.
This is your boy Jesse Griffin, representing Jesse Griffin Clothing Brand. You can check us out on Instagram at Jesse Griffin Co. or on our website at www.jessegriffinco.com. And you are now tuning in to Revive Radio. Cheer.
You are listening to Revive Radio. The views and opinions expressed on Revive Radio does not necessarily reflect ownership, management, and advertisers of Revive Radio.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You already know what time it is. ReviveIsAlive.com. Once again, ReviveIsAlive.com. Tune in. Revive is alive. Welcome to Revive. It's about that time. Welcome to Revive. It's about that time. All I need is one mic. You know what time it is. Open up your ears. You know what time it is. Open up your mind. It's about that time. It's your girl P.O.C. Hey! It's your girl P.O.C. Hey! Proof of consciousness. Proof of consciousness. P.O.C. You know what time it is. Open up your ears. You know what time it is. Open up your mind. All I need is it's about that time. Welcome to Revive. Welcome to Revive. Yep, to the yep. You already know what time it is, man. It's Meet Your Girl P.O.C, host of Revive Radio. We are live right now on Revive is Alive, Revive is Alive, ReviveIsAlive.com. Like I tell you guys each and every morning, you got to get up anyway. So why not get up with Meet Your Girl P.O.C, man? Starting at 7 a.m., getting this good morning mix. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Spread the word, spread the message. Stay locked to us by subscribing to the YouTube channel as well as the newsletter so you know exactly what's going on each and every time we go live here, Revive Radio. You already know each and every time we go live, we got a special guest, trending topics and current events and everything that we talk about live here on Revive. So make sure you guys give us a call, 215-853-6803. Once again, that number is 215-853-6803. And today we got a special guest on the line today, man, hailing all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm really excited to be speaking with her this morning. Good morning, Dr. Hallmon. How you feeling?
I feel great. Good morning. Thank you for all the good energy this morning.
Yes. We got to wake the people up, man. We got to wake the people up each and every morning. We got to, you know what I'm saying, get their hearts pumping and their bloods flowing and let them know that they too have a purpose out here. And one thing that you're doing, you know what I mean, with your brand and everything that you got going on, that's exactly what you're doing. You're giving small businesses, you know, a place to just really come and have a platform to share their voice and you know, give people what they have to see. So I want you to go ahead and tell the people who you are before we get started.
Sure thing. Good morning, everybody. I am Dr. Lakeysha Hallmon, Dr. Key, the founder and CEO of the Village Market ATL. I kickstarted the Village Market in 2016, former classroom teacher and administrator, and have always had an entrepreneur spirit and also an entrepreneurial village, too. So it was honestly a no-brainer for me when I realized that I love to go to festivals here in Atlanta, and I could only support.
So when you left the classroom, first and foremost, I appreciate you for being a teacher. Thank you for even going into that. Well, let me just ask you, what made you want to even go into the classroom first?
I had no choice. I always knew. Back in the day when you went to school, like for career day or what you want to be when you got big,
Awesome.
I always said that I wanted to be a teacher. So I knew from when I was third grade and on that I would be a teacher, that I would be an administrator. And I tell everyone the reason why I've been able to have so much success in the Village Market is because I learned young to trust my path.
Yes.
So teaching just came natural for me, and I still get to teach now, but just in a different way.
Definitely. And when it comes to just, you know, the Atlanta scene, how would you say they adapted to you, you know, coming from being a teacher to, you know, now being an entrepreneur?
Originally, I moved here from Mississippi, so people were excited about the Village Market, but I think they had questions as well. Because when I started in 2016, our formula and the blueprint is a little different than most marketplaces, festivals that you go to.
Mm-hmm.
I made sure in 2016 that all the food would be plant-based and all the products would be all natural and all the apparel would be conscious. And so that eliminated so many businesses initially because there wasn't a wave yet for like the Slutty Vegan Burger and things like that.
Yes.
People would, yeah, we wasn't on the wave. We were before the wave. And to really put a standard in the community of what we should be buying from each other, how we should circulate. A lot of folks initially felt that I was being too strict, being too siloed in my mission. But I always just know to stay the course. I know to work hard, to make sure it's good, to make sure it's unforgettable, and that the people will come. So it wasn't easy in 2016, and I have to make sure I tell that truth as well because I wasn't a part of that initial wave. So now the wave is here. We've seen Wakanda, and so we have an image of it, and now we get excited about Wakanda. We got Pinky with Slutty Vegan, so now we want the plant-based food. But when you are in the front of something, you get a lot of resistance because people don't see the vision that you see. But that's also not their job.
That's a fact, too. That's a fact. I want to back up a little bit because you say you're from Mississippi, correct?
Yes, I'm from Mississippi, Batesville, Mississippi.
Yes. So was Mississippi not ready for the wave? Like, why didn't you start in Mississippi?
It wasn't my work. That wasn't my work. My work in Mississippi was to teach in the Mississippi Delta.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't have an image of the village in Mississippi. I had the image of being a teacher and being like one of the leading teachers in education.
I know they heard.
I wasn't given. Huh?
I was about to say, I know they heard Mississippi like, yo, come down here. We need you too. I can't really hear you. You were going out a little bit. What you say?
I'm one of those who are forever Mississippians. I'm always back home.
Yes.
Teaching, doing different events. I'm always back in my alma mater. Shout out to Tougaloo College. So I'm always Boys and Girls Club. If they have big things going on, I'm typically their keynote. So when you've been given a platform where now the world becomes your classroom, you have to be flexible. Meaning wherever you go, you plant. Mm-hmm. And so I'm always back at home in Georgia and wherever else I'm called to do my work too.
Facts. So let me ask you this. So, like you said, the wave, people are riding the wave. The wave is making its own waves right now, pretty much. So when it comes down, because I was asking artists and entrepreneurs on Black Friday when we did our live broadcast about advertising and marketing. We have this small business market that we put together, but we can count, how many people are coming through the door. So when it comes down to small businesses and marketing and advertising themselves, what kind of advice would you give about that?
Be okay with telling everyone how dope you are, but then make sure your product exceeds your words. It's like that Muhammad Ali approach. We didn't really know he was the greatest until he started knocking people out, but he knew he was the greatest in his mind, and he told us. Mm-hmm. And then when he got in the ring, he was knocking everybody out. And I think when it comes to marketing, that's that same level of approach and confidence, but being in the lab and working and making sure what you're producing matches what you're saying. And for Black Friday and Small Business Saturday, they can start a week before the event. I don't start promoting the Village Market Black Friday Fest in November. As soon as our summer market drops in July, we start anticipating Black Friday about how incredible it's going to be. And the thing is, I also make sure that it's incredible. But the marketing has to be, it's like you can't just say it, you have to do it.
Facts.
And having the intentionality to make sure your flyers are dope. I'm not the best at Canva, so I find people who are. Mm-hmm. Because in whatever other graphic designer, when you know that you're in a world of everyone competing for dollars, you have to be what people see the most. And see enough to be able to click on your post or even patronize you for a pop-up and things like that. I really make sure that from our branding to our messaging to our photography to the videos to the type of businesses who participate to my team, that we all operate in excellence.
Awesome. I love that. I definitely love that. And I love how you brought your team into that as well, because the team is really the key to, making sure that everything sticks like glue, especially throughout big events like that. And I wanted to also ask you, when it comes down to having pop-ups and having different things as a vendor here in the city of Philadelphia, also in the District of Columbia, where, we travel back and forth to, you have to get a lot of permits, you have to get a lot of approvals and different things in that nature. So when it comes down to, being a vendor and doing your things, let me ask you this question correctly. Being a vendor and doing things outside, should you go through the correct funnel and the correct tools of getting the permits and stuff like that, or should you just shut up shop? Because a lot of millennials are just coming to shut up shop. We want to just, we want to work with and take advantage of space and opportunity, but we're getting hit with a lot of fines and different things like that because we're not doing the proper channels. So I wanted to ask you, because, your market is huge.
Go through the proper channels. It's annoying, millennials. I so understand, but learn to do it right the first time, and then the second time gets easier. Then the third time gets easier, and then when you get to like your fourth pop up, it doesn't matter if you're in Philly or if you're in DC. It's like you already learned and you trained that muscle. Mm-hmm. So it is very difficult though to even learn how to navigate through the city with the licensing and the permits. But when you learn it, it's better to know it, and then you can take what you learn yourself and teach it to other people, and that's how you start to get residual income. Mm-hmm. Because now when you put yourself in a position of being a curator and then also a facilitator of knowledge, so it's like the wealth and how you achieve wealth, it needs to be beyond just the event. But for your question, for millennials and people who've been doing it for a minute, who mom and pop, it is best to just learn the process. I think for me, I just went ahead and I did the hard stuff first, all the annoying things that none of us want to do, because it's not fun. And I can't pretend that it is. But because of that, now when other companies come to the city, Blavity and things like that, Essence, they call me in order to partner with the Village Market because we've done all the hard things already. Mm-hmm. So it's like always putting yourself in a position, you being beyond a curator. It's like you have to be able to be a facilitator of knowledge as well. Because if the event goes away, and we don't want it to go away, but if it does, you will still be self-sustaining.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. And when it comes down to, small businesses and actually setting up shop and being a vendor, would you say that, creativity as far as how you set up your space also gravitates people towards your table or to your marketplace? Because I see a lot of people putting a lot of energy into the product, yes, as they should, but then you come to their setup and it's like, okay, what are you actually selling? You know what I mean?
Right. No, I totally agree. I think presentation it's like if you're dating someone. We can't see people insides first. We just can't. We all deal with the aesthetics. We all move by what's aesthetically pleasing to us, and then we hope the insides are good. So if you're in a marketplace with 20 other businesses, you need to look good first, and then when people come inside and actually, go inside of your booth space, start to pick up your products, and then they start to see the quality. I just try to talk about everything from a very human way, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. It's like it needs to look good so people can be pulled to you and compelled to come and shop from you.
And so would you say that people should invest into that? Because a lot of people are spending more time on the product. Should it be like 70-30, 60-40? How should that go?
Well, first, I think the product has to be good. Mm-hmm. So you don't want to pull people in, right? And then when they get to your shea butter, they could barely get it on your arm because it's not on their arm because it's not smooth. Exactly. It's like, so I agree with them with making sure that 80% is quality control. And then as you sell more product, you can invest in more of the appearance, the aesthetic piece of it for your vendor experience. We have a company, Elixir Candle, and I remember when Faith started being a part of the Village Market, first just had a table, but her candles were dope.
Mm-hmm.
She would sell all these candles, and then next time I saw her, now she has shelves. She's selling more candles. This time I saw the girl had a carpet and everything, and still selling more candles. So it's like it's what the product has to be what you put all your emphasis in initially, and also promoting, because you can work hard and people don't know you here, then you just worked hard.
Yes.
But every market reinvest in the business the same way I do the Village Market.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can do these big banners. Back in the day, you better see it on Instagram because we cannot afford these big things. But I just, for any company, from a 6-foot vendor space or to you with your pop-ups and curating things, it's like every experience we reinvest to make the next one better.
Yes, I appreciate that. And how does one get into, the Village Market? How does one get into the space?
We have a very anal process that drives people crazy, but everything is on our website. So you complete your application, of course, and then my team and I, we just really start choosing who we think is the best fit for every marketplace. But our website is very comprehensive.
Okay. So you have to go through a process. It's like an elimination process, because I'm sure you guys get thousands of applications. Is it across
We do.
Is it across the United States? Have you guys ever got any international applications before?
Oh yeah, we have gotten at this point we average about 700 applications every market. And then we represent 27 states and 6 countries.
Awesome.
Yeah, we have a confirmed. Thank you. We have a confirmed, international partnership with the Bahamas, meaning I go there and teach classes and curate for them, and their companies also fly here anytime we have a big marketplace. Their government has invested in the Village Market and getting their small businesses to be a part.
Awesome.
And we're working with other islands across the Caribbean as well. So I just have a very keen focus on making sure we impact the Black diaspora.
Mm-hmm.
And for this year, I wanted to be able to sit with 10 countries. I was able to sit with 14, and now we're in the process of locking in the same partnerships with them that I had with the Bahamas.
Awesome. Do you mind dropping any of the names of the 14? That's big.
I'd rather wait until we sign the paper.
I'm with it. I
but
just
if
had
it's
to
a black
ask.
country, I met. Yeah, if it's a black country, we met and we talked and we had a good time.
Shout out to that passport. 2019 was a great year. 14 countries. That's big.
Absolutely.
That's big. And let me ask you about the Bahamas. So since, they had that natural disaster, how was they able to bounce back? Are they, reviving themselves? Are they bouncing back a little bit faster, slower? How's it going over there?
It's a process. I think it's going to be a slow bounce back, but do I think they're going to recover? Yes. Okay. Very resilient people. But it's like any other natural disaster. We assume when the world stops talking about it that the people are better. But for so many people, the conditions are still the same. And when we saw it 2 months ago, 3 months ago, mm-hmm. their life is still very much the same. People are still displaced. People are still without power and things like that and lost their homes and living in shelters. Their government is doing the best they can with the resources that they have. People are giving, of course, but that type of change that is going to take to really rebuild the Bahamas is not a short time play.
And that's exactly
it's going to take 3 to 5 years to really rebuild. So if another hurricane comes, these homes and these schools, these hospitals, these churches can sustain.
And that's exactly why I asked, because like you said, when the media stops talking about it, it goes away. We make it seem like, everything is good. They're back to normal, but it's really not like that. Still to this day, Puerto Rico is still, trying to bounce back. So I definitely understand.
Absolutely.
But when it comes to Atlanta, how much buying power, does Atlanta really have? Is it some money in that city, truly? People always say it's a lot of money in Atlanta. Is that a true statement?
I would say there's quite a bit of money to be made and to be spent in Atlanta. But I will also say in any city, though, there's still a tale of two cities. Money is flowing for some, And then the disparities between the income equality for Black people is still no different than that if we're in the Mississippi Delta.
Okay.
So it's like money is being made here. Money is being spent here. But when we start talking about putting a Black-owned business akin to a white-owned business, Black-owned business is still on average only averaging about $20,000 to $30,000 per year, and you have white companies $500,000 and above, and we're even under Latino companies. So yes, this is the land of Wakanda. There is so much Black excellence here, but no matter where you go on this planet, there's always a tale of two cities, a clear distinguisher between the have and the have-not.
And do you see the city doing something about that as more and more people are pushing towards Atlanta, and coming towards that city to start businesses and to live, honestly?
Yeah, I think the city is trying to galvanize a true collective buying power to position Black business, Black startups, women-owned business in the forefront and to get them capital there. But there are also companies, like mine, my friend Jewel with Collab Capital, Ryan at the Gathering Spot, my friend Dooley at Effect Fitness. We also use our platforms to let the city know that there is these income equality gaps, that Black people still need to be hired, that Black companies still not getting investment money to get started. It's the right people are having the right type of the conversations with the little light and shine that we have. It's like you don't take it. If the Village Market do well and I don't talk about the disparities, then I'm a hypocrite. And my friends and I have all taken that same approach.
I like that, and I appreciate you, for making that your responsibility, because you don't have to, especially because you are, successful and you are doing well. You don't have to, think about others. So I definitely appreciate you for doing that. Would you say that Atlanta is still an open market? Because a lot of people still have the notion that, if I want to make it, I got to go to Atlanta. If I want to, start a business, I got to go to Atlanta. If I want to buy land, I need to go to, the South to do so. Would you say that that's still an open market for people right now, or is oversaturated?
I don't think it's oversaturated. So I do think that Atlanta is luscious for opportunity.
I like that.
It is. Because I tell everyone, I think a lot of the success due to the Village Market is because we started it in Atlanta.
Awesome.
The same with my friend Ryan in the Gathering Spot and Dooley with Effect Fitness. I think it's because of Atlanta is so Black and so proud that it's almost impossible here to fail if you work hard and build community.
I agree. And the conversation is shifting. It went from, girl, I'm about to go to Lenox to, girl, I'm about to go to the Village Market. Like, it really switched over. The conversation switched. I will give you props.
Right?
I will give you props to that. Really, like, for real. So just seeing, the shift from 2016 and now 2019 headed into 2020, and seeing your accomplishments, how do you feel about the success of the marketplace?
I'm so proud. Like, there are no words. I live, what my everyday life looks like is very quiet. I'm an introvert, and then I'm extroverted when I need to be, but I live in gratitude.
Awesome.
So when I'm sitting at home by myself or out under a tree or out at the lake, I am really writing my thank yous.
Awesome.
So I can stay on my path.
You one of those tree huggers?
I am certainly a tree hugger.
I'm with
tree
that.
hugger, sun hugger.
Yes. So how would you say, because over the course of time, what I learned statistically is that Black Friday is no longer, the biggest retail day of the year for retail stores anymore. Cyber Monday is. So now that we have this wave of like internet and people, buying online, how do you feel that the success of the market will grow and adapt to that right now?
Number one, that data is spot on. Because of that, we started to do this thing this year with our mobile marketplace. And we established it because there's, again, we talk about the wave. The wave is real. That people are now waiting on Monday to get all those deals.
Yes.
So I curated the mobile marketplace to be able to help businesses on Cyber Monday. So truly building beyond the physical marketplace experience. I would say retail and malls are dying out. But it is still so vibrant in the Black community. If you galvanize community, Like we saw about 3,700 people over the course of Friday and Saturday. So that means people physically still want to shop from physical places. They just don't want to do it at the malls anymore.
They don't want the
Thankfully,
hassle.
yeah, it's like people want real connection and real community now. Now, with the part of like this retail industry though, and why Cyber Monday is so important, we talked about the numbers for Black-owned businesses in the startup phase. At the end of the year, clearing about 20,000. That's not enough to really employ anyone. E-commerce has positioned us, the Black community, Black-owned businesses, to compete. That's why Cyber Monday is so critical. So if you can't afford renting a space and doing your own retail, you can afford to build your website and build your Shopify page. So e-commerce is powerful for us, but also physical locations are powerful for us as well.
I agree with you on that. And were you guys as successful online as you were, in the marketplace?
Yeah, it was super cool. We had so much traction yesterday. It's cool to see because we've never done it before. I was like, this is working. So
awesome.
My developer is based in California. So every moment he would like send me the data of how many people are actually visiting the mobile marketplace.
Awesome.
And I'm like jumping up and down at home. Like, this thing is working. And it just made me excited for growth, number one, and being able to see a need and do something about it.
Yes. And would you say that, you're able to appeal or also, accommodate more businesses with the mobile marketplace, because now you can get more and more instead of capping it off at 700, maybe 1,700?
Yes. The goal is I still want to create it like the boutique style.
Okay.
So I don't want 100 businesses in the mobile marketplace.
Okay.
I'd rather partner with my friend Sharif at We Buy Black for that, because his We Buy Black is built for e-commerce.
Yes.
But being able to do like the boutique style, I can still feature about 20 to 25 businesses, and then for the overflow, send them over to my friend Sharif, because that's how you truly build a village. So let Sharif and We Buy Black galvanize that space, and we assist. We complement that space.
Yes.
And then for the physical marketplace, he complements by sending businesses over who want the physical.
That's love. I love the partnership right there. Making your net worth, like for real. Like
Right.
That's big. Like I appreciate that. And let me ask you this. When it comes down to, your success, I'm sure they came with times with failures. And a lot of entrepreneurs, want things to be microwaved and happen overnight. Do you mind sharing a time where, you felt like it wasn't going to work out, it wasn't going to be as successful as it is right now? Do you mind sharing a story where, you didn't know if tomorrow was going to be tomorrow or not?
Right. Good question. I would say because 2016, I had to really just trust the vision and invest a great deal of money into getting a really good attorney and all those things that we talked about, the licensing and all that. I didn't know. I was like, I hope me betting on myself that I'm a winning ticket. So that process was hard. I would say I probably lost a lot of money at first because I didn't know how to hire. I didn't really know what I needed. So now when people come to me, they're like, do you need this? I'm like, no, don't pay for that. I spent $2,500 here. So not knowing initially just the infrastructure of how to build this thing that I saw in my mind, I would say just spent money in the wrong places. But from just the human piece of it, and this is for everyone, you included, it's like you have to make sure you work with people who have the same type of heart that you have, the same type of vision you have. Naturally, I gravitate, to no surprise, to Black people. I want us to do well. And I was so naive in 2016 thinking that everyone, all of us wanted us to do well in the same way. And so my biggest mistakes was not really listening, like, to myself and my spirit of discernment to say, like, nah, don't work with this person. You know, keep them over there, love them from afar, but this is not the type of person you should work with, because you get so much advice when you're starting. Oh, you need to partner with this big brand and that big brand to be able to be successful. I remember one day I was leaving a meeting. It was like my 9th meeting, and one day, no one should ever do this. It's so crazy. And I got to my car, and my brain was hurting so much, and I just cried. And I found myself sitting in that car crying about everything, crying about 9 meetings in one day and not sure if I'm moving in the right direction, crying about sticking to my standards and Black businesses pushing back because we have to tell businesses no sometimes, sticking to my standards that there's going to be a ticket fee associated at the door because we give you an experience. That's hard to live with all the pressure of wanting people to see that you're just trying to do the best you can with where you are.
Facts.
So probably the biggest failure, honestly, was just not listening to myself when I needed to.
That's big. And I love that you said earlier that you betted on yourself. You know, you took a chance and you bet on yourself, and you pretty much didn't listen to the people that was around you at the time. Like, what about your parents or your mom? Would you say, you know, you leaving your job? Because that's one thing that, you know, my mom said to me when I left my full-time job, you know, to pursue my dreams and follow my goals, was to, you know, you're tripping. You're tripping. One out of, you know, every 100 people actually succeed and become successful in following their dreams. So, you know, when it comes down to actually explaining that to your parents, how was that conversation?
Oh, I feel like they always have thought I was just a little different.
Okay.
So because of that, I listened to a certain extent. I think they also trusted me because I betted on myself several times and I win.
Awesome.
But they raised me to be able to really, if something is in my mind, invest it in myself first before I start asking people for things. So when it was really time for me to make the big pivot, I told my dad, my mother's deceased, oh, I already have invested this amount. This is what we're doing. And he was like, word? I was like, word. And because of that, it was like a no-brainer that he would support. But a lot of things I've done privately because I don't want the kickback. I don't want the negativity. I don't want the doubts. I don't want the fears. And our parents and our grandparents, they just want us to be safe. Your mom just wants you to do well. Mm-hmm. She wants, like, if she's not here, that you can sustain and take care of yourself. So because I know that, I'm like, I just keep this part to myself and tell it to my friends because I don't want their worries, because then their worries going to lead to my anxiety and it's going to stop me from doing what I was created to do.
Facts. That's big. And I love that you even use the word anxiety, because a lot of people try to shy away from key words and key points like that to ultimately say what is really going on with them. And I want to ask you, because you keep using the word, you know, sustainability and sustaining. What about longevity? You know, what is your advice or your opinions that you would give for, you know, businesses and entrepreneurs to have longevity in what they're doing?
To stay the course, to truly know what Nipsey said, that it's a marathon.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a marathon, and we see people, we see the unicorns out there, the unicorn businesses who have it's like, and I reference my friend Pinky again, who concept just hits and just soars. Those are unicorn companies. It's only a small percentage of people that's going to see that. And then another percentage out there is going to see that longer approach when year 3 looks so different than year 1. It's like, but you truly got to keep reinvesting and keep every milestone. You should be able to self-evaluate. Have I grown as a person, and has my business grown? Because if we grow as people, then our business savviness naturally grows. Mm-hmm. So it's like you truly have to have those milestone goals. I have around my house, like just like a pie chart almost of where I am, where I'm going to go, what it takes to get there, and my failures when I didn't listen to myself.
Awesome.
So it's not even like, oh, I thought I would get this contract. Did I listen to myself or did I not? Did I operate in fear or did I operate in confidence?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because most of our failures solely come because we're operating in fear and doubt.
Yes.
And all those limited beliefs that we have. It's like our mind has to change.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you on that. I definitely agree with you on that. And I thank you for that. I do have one question off of Twitter I want to ask you as well. They ask, do you ever feel upset with yourself that you're doing something? Yeah, they said, do you ever feel upset with yourself that you're doing something that you didn't go to school for? I guess because you're not using your degree.
Man, every time Sally Mae come knocking.
Great answer, right? Great answer.
Every
you are a
time Sally Mae
doctor.
shows up.
That means you was in school for a minute.
I was in school for a minute. I had PTSD for writing a dissertation. I have all the things. So, but because I still, outside of, running the village, I am still a consultant in the education world.
Awesome.
So I spend a lot of time internationally training teachers on social emotional learning and across the country. So I still get to utilize this good old PhD that I work hard for.
Awesome.
Yeah, but yes, anytime Sally Mae show up every month, I roll my eyes.
And if you don't mind me asking this a little off topic, what is one of the biggest, complaints that you hear teachers talking about nowadays, other than, of course, the paycheck, because they want to get paid more, we know that. But,
yeah.
When it just comes to their environment, like what are teachers talking about?
What I hear most from teachers when I have to train is that they're burned out,
okay,
that they feel undervalued, that they don't feel seen, that their success is largely contingent upon test scores. Yeah, and they don't receive a lot of thank yous. The gifted teachers get the thank yous because their kids come in smart, or come in at an advantage. So those are always typically the teacher of the year.
Because their students pass the test.
Yes. So everything is so quantitative now, and teachers, most teachers get in the classroom. We know this is not because of the money, but because there's a visceral thing in their heart with connecting and wanting to change the world. So if you're in a space, in a company where you lead with your heart, you need people to be able to talk to your heart. So they just don't feel seen and valued. And so when I go in and I have to work with teachers, that's what I'm working for. That's what I'm working to get them to be revitalized, to all their black girl magic. And I guess white girl magic, if that's a thing, because I work with all teachers.
Okay.
All of that, just to resuscitate that, and so they can remember why they started. But that's what I hear the most.
Okay.
They just don't feel appreciated.
That's good to know. That's good to know, because I was actually in a school myself, and I was invited for a career day, and I was there to talk about media and different things in that nature. And we were talking about, of course, hip hop and stuff. And we actually got to talking about shopping and clothes, because the school that I was at, they don't have to wear a uniform. So I was talking to certain students, and they were actually talking about, the drip, how they coin terms nowadays. And I was like, how you in, 10th grade with a Gucci belt, and you got, the Balenciagas on and different things like that. And he was like, this is just what I love. This is what I like to wear. I just like to be fly. And then that just made me think about a question with you when it comes down to the village market. Do you feel as though that we put a lot of pressure on, African-American black consumers to shop black because they need to support their own, when if they, overall just love to shop with Balenciaga and Gucci and things like that, should we just support them for not necessarily supporting us?
So this is what I believe. I think we always should gravitate to what compels us. So I don't think people should shop black if that's not in your heart.
Okay.
You shop with what speaks to you. Now, if you're a person who wants to kind of help revitalize the community, then your efforts got to be there, because you can do two things at the same time. You can get those brands, and then you can get our brand. Mm-hmm. It's like, because both are dope, just dope in different ways. But I don't think one singular person has a responsibility for a whole community. I think the collective buying power is that people being intentional is not necessarily shopping like the apparel, but if where are you eating? Mm-hmm. If they're black-owned restaurants, None of your brunches are held there.
That's
You know what I
big.
mean?
That's big. Speaking about
Yeah.
eating, did you check out Percy Miller, Master P? He just drops the oodles and noodles. He has his own oodles and noodle brand now.
I didn't know this.
Ramen noodles, I should say, not oodles and noodles. That's a ramen.
Remember,
noodles.
I'm a tree hugger. I never know what's going on.
Okay, well, Master P just dropped his own brand of ramen noodles. He got in the game. It's one of those things like when people say what you eating, he wanted to really truly show them what you can eat. Support Black owned businesses, and I appreciate you for coming through and supporting us here at Revive Radio. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule because I know this weekend was really hectic for you. Before we let you go, can you tell the people once again how they can find you, your social media, your website, and if they too want to be a part of the market, how they can do so?
Absolutely. Before I say all that, I want to tell you thank you so much for holding space for me, allowing me to be in your space and your energy with your audience.
Thank you.
You are incredible. Blessings on blessings on blessings.
Yes, sis.
But you can, of course, follow the Village Market first. It's so much cooler than I am. It's the Village Market ATL on all platforms. Our website is www.thevillagemarketatl. You can learn about the Village Market, all our programs that we do, things that we have coming up. But everything is found there. If you want to get some inspiration every other day, you can follow me at DRKEYHALLMON on Instagram. It's probably the only thing I really know how to utilize at this point. So just go there.
I appreciate you, man. I hope you have a great rest of your year and happy holiday season to you. And I just want to say shout out to your team. Like, your team is honestly, truly amazing. I just want to say shout out to your team. They did their thing.
Yes, I love them and they're incredible. Thank you so much.
No doubt. Have a blessed one.
You too.
Yep. You already know what time it is, man. It's your girl, P.O.C. That just wraps up an amazing interview. I truly appreciate her for taking time out of her day to come speak with us this morning. Like I tell you guys, each and every morning, you got to get up anyway. So why not get it with your girl, P.O.C.? Shout out to Dr. K, man. Atlanta Village Market. I encourage everybody to go out and check it out, man. Support Black-owned business. Support small businesses. Support people who support you, man. You already know what time it is. Your girl, P.O.C. Get back in this morning mix. You already know. Let's go. Tell a friend to tell a friend.
Knock your hustle for reals, I misses game tight. See it.
Happy birthday, Hove, man. My God just turned 50 years old. Let's go.
On and now, Revive Radio.
Then I slide right in.
On and
You
now,
know the whole
Revive
repertoire,
Radio.
US.